born. One fine day, children of God, on our way. Mama smiles, Daddy cries. Miracle before their eyes. They protect us till we're of age, and through it all, love remains. Kingdoms come and go, but they don't last. Before you know, the future is the past. In spite of what's been lost or what's been gained, we are living proof that love remains.
Darling, if you ever leave me, well, I'll just put my heart away. I couldn't love again, believe me. No one could please me anyway. And if another ever came along, I'd just turn them down, 'cause after all, I've been loved by the best. I can't settle now for less. Why bother with the rest? Baby, I've been to the top, I guess. With you I have been blessed. I won't take nothing less. I've been loved by the best.
I'd gladly walk across the desert with no shoes upon my feet, to share with you the last bite of bread I had to eat. I would swim out to save you in your sea of broken dreams. When all your hopes are sinking, let me show you what love means. Love can build a bridge between your heart and mine. Love can build a bridge. Don't you think it's time? Don't you think it's time? I would whisper love so loudly every heart could understand, that love and only love can join the tribes of man. I would give my heart's desire so that you might see. The first step is to realize that it all begins with you and me. Love can build a bridge don't you think it's time? Love and only love.
One of my favorite memories about Dad would be all the cute little notes that we would find, you know, every morning, whether before school or just leaving the house. There's always something to remind us that he loves us and is thinking about us. And not only that, every time we go out in public, he will tell every stranger or anyone that we meet how much he loves us as well. And that has been always something that has meant a lot to me, just knowing how much I know my dad loves me.
Mama couldn't see him, oh, but he was standing there, and I knew.
Hey Dad, I just wanted to say that I appreciate everything you've done for me, and I appreciate everything that you still do for me. I appreciate you being that rock in my life and being that consistent person that I can always count on. I love you so much, and I hope you have a great birthday.
Angels among us, send down to us from somewhere up above. They come to you and me in our darkest hours to show us how to live, to teach us how to give, to guide us with the light of love.
Probably one of my favorite memories of Dad is golfing. It's always been a blast golfing with him because he is always a good sport. You can have the most terrible shot in the world and they tell you how good it was. Just makes it for a fun day anytime you golf with him. And he's just a great person to be around, always builds you up. And probably the best example of someone that really is a caring, loving person.
At the dark end of the road, that someone lights the way with just a single.
You are so smart. You are so knowledgeable about so many different subjects, and you're so fun to talk to about anything. On our long drive home from South Carolina, I was never bored for a second. We had plenty to talk about, and I could ask you about anything, and you just are a wealth of information. And you also are a human roadmap. You know where everything is in this country.
They wear so many faces, show up in the strangest places to grace us with their mercy in our time of need. Oh, I believe there are angels among us, sent down to us from somewhere up above. They come to you and me in our darkest hours to show us how to live, to teach us how to give, to guide us with the light of love, to guide us with the light of love. Had an eye for things that glitter, but I was far from being made of gold. I
Don't know how, but I scraped up the money. I just never could quite tell you no. Just to see you smile, I'd do anything that you wanted me to. When all is said and done, I never count the cost. It's worth all that's lost. Just to see you smile, just to see you smile, I'd do anything that you wanted me to. When all is said and done, I never count the cost. It's worth all that's lost. Just to see you smile.
Well, memorable things about my papa. Well, I'll tell you what, one really unique story about the kind of guy Dad is. I was probably 12, and we were at a scout camp out. I think it was called Camp Evergreen in New Uintas. And this is in the fall, I don't know, cold time, because the water was probably 50 degrees. And if you haven't been in 50-degree water, you would not understand. This is like swimming in ice cubes. It's extremely cold. And your body burns because it's so cold. And so I commenced in throwing casting the fishing line in the water. And when I was casting, I let go of the pole and threw this fishing pole in the water. And because I was a little wussy, I was like, didn't have the nerve to jump in there and dig the, swim underwater and grab the pole. And I remember Dad stepped up there, and I think he stripped right down to his garments, but he hopped in that lake. Cold, I'm telling you, that water was so cold it burned you. I mean, it felt like it was burning your skin. It was so cold. He hopped in there and swam underwater, picked up that pole and brought it in there, and never said a word to me. He was really kind about it, and there's actually several examples of that, but this is one particular one that was very memorable to. I think as a dad myself, that was a pretty big thing, to hop in that water, freeze your butt off, and not even say a word about it. Just be glad to do it. I really did appreciate Dad for that, and for many other things, but that's one story I wanted to share with you. This is Diamond. Here's the next story. I've actually got several of these, but this one in particular, another classical moment of the type of guy Dad is. I was probably 16, 17, I think about 16 at the time, and Dad had just got this new Oldsmobile touring sedan. This is like an 88, 89, and beautiful car. This, at the time, it was pretty loaded up, pretty slick, kind of the top of the line kind of thing for the Oldsmobile, and a real nice car. And this girl, Joanna, I was going to take her to like a stake dance or some church dance, something, like that. Anyway, Dad let me use the car. He let me take that car. And I'm a 16-year-old dork, and so anyway, I take the car. I'm up on Foothill Boulevard, driving down the road there, and it's got a pretty neat radio on this car. So of course, I'm playing with the radio and adjusting it and using the little search things on it and stuff. And back then, this is in this is in '89. Buttons and stuff and digital lights was pretty cutting edge. It was phones weren't, this is right when the block phone came out. It was pretty basic stuff on the electrical side. So anyway, I'm going down the road there to pick Joanna up, and sure enough, I'm down fidgeting with the radio, and I run a red light, and getting a head-on blast with this old couple in a little pickup truck and just slam them. There's, 2 head prints on their windshield, and both their heads that just smacked the windshield. Anyway, so I get in this accident, and one of the firemen that showed up to the scene was a Steve Millard, one of Dad's friends. And anyway, I get there, and I'm fine. Nothing really particularly happens to me, but Dad's car is borderline totaled. It was literally a few $100 from being totaled. And to make a long story short, they take me down to his office, and I'm going to get into the fact that it took 6 months, I think, to fix his car, and he was driving different rental cars, and it was a real joke. Now, once again, didn't complain about this. Didn't ride me on this, or didn't beat me up over this. I get to his office after I wreck his car, and the first thing he says to me, hearing about his car and the situation, is he doesn't even really care about the car at all. He only is concerned that I'm okay. And I was in shock. I mean, I'm 16. I just wrecked his new car. I am in absolute shock because I'm like, oh crap, this is his new little baby, and literally he took me to lunch, and just told me he was glad that I was okay. He dealt with all that crap and bull crap with this car. I never really heard much about it. I was young and doing my thing and busy being a selfish kid, and but he kind of absorbed that and dealt with that stress and that difficulty and didn't complain a bit. Didn't beat me up over it. Didn't, I really never even heard about what happened with it, other than I knew that he was driving rental cars for 6 months. But that's just another example of the type of guy Dad is, and I love him for that.
One of my favorite memories of Dad was when it's actually the only time I ever upset him, but he was upset at me for doing something pretty stupid, which was valid. Wasn't the smartest thing I've ever done, but he got mad at me, and I think he even yelled at me or something like that, but he felt so bad about doing it. As he came back downstairs and he apologized, and he told me I could hit him in the arm 3 times to make up for him being mean to me. And I was weak, I couldn't hit him that hard, but he faked that I hurt him, and it was pretty funny, and it was a great example of someone that just really cares, doesn't want to hurt anybody's feelings, and just a loving, great guy. And I love my dad so much.